So, as I said in my introductory remarks, one of the things everyone is trying to figure out here in Davos is just where are we with this AI revolution? I don't know if you heard me backstage, but I was saying, there's real change here and it's super fast. And I think businesses are struggling to keep up. And I'm sure you guys aren't contributing to the hype, but I think there's also a lot of hype on top. I thought maybe a good place to start is to talk about what are businesses doing today with AI, with you, what's working. Let's start with what's working. What are businesses doing today with generative? Where are you seeing the most success, the most value driven, that sort of thing?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, look, Gene, and so first of all, I guess it's very important, Ina, to understand 2023 was the year of, we had the first ideas of what generative AI can do for businesses, not for, typical consumers or in our private life. 2024 was then really the adoption of the first use cases so that companies feel the value. But, these are use cases in, take, for example, HR. You wide thousands of job profiles, job postings every year, of course, can be taken over. We closed, which is good, thousands of contracts by the end of the year with customers. 800 pages, completely now automated, RefReg checks, compliance checks, data security, over-regulation in Europe checked by AI, and then of course that gives you
Regulation in Europe? I'm shocked.
yeah, see, yeah, Ina, a completely new topic, huh? And now, and look, these are the use cases where customers say, you know what, that is why I absolutely willing to also lean in and adopt these new AI use cases. Now, of course, when you now, I mean, grandma next week becomes, 95. When I ask my kids to write a poem, they ask ChatGPT and get a good result. The problem, what it still is, and this is, I guess, what we now have to solve in 2025 to not only feed into the hype, is really, these LLM modules, they have, for good reasons, no access to business data. But in businesses, you need 100% accurate results. I mean, the poem for grandma can be 95% good and 5% okay. That is absolutely fine. In business, you need 100% accurate results. And where many companies still struggle with is, I have my co-pilot here, SAP has its Joule, and then we have this and that. But how do I bring this together? And because only when I have unstructured, structured data together, SAP, non-SAP data together, I really understand better with AI my consumer trends, the consumer wishes. I can fuel growth by really detecting earlier, is this Adidas sneaker now just more in the demand or less? And then I can adjust my supply chain. And here we come to here we come to the agent story. And I guess that is now the next thing where also technology companies like SAP, Databricks, and others need to team up in order, how can we really build this data foundation for AI?
And you hit on a really important thing, and one of the things I've been asking, which is if the LLMs aren't 100% accurate. And right now we live in a world where they're generally returning information to a human being. Those contracts, probably someone's giving it a final read, hopefully. But when we talk about agents, we're talking about more autonomy.
Yes.
Is the technology ready to be given agentic capabilities? And if so, what types of agents? Because we've also been having a conversation. People mean really different things when they say agents.
Yeah. Look, it's a good question. I mean, I can share with you two agentic AI capabilities we are going to launch this year. I mean, first, when customers using our software to package their services, their products, to price it, hopefully, in the right way, to position it at the right point of time. So there is a sales agent, helping you with, a lot of recommendations on what is the best price, how to package this up, how to bundle it best to really hit the consumer at the right point in time. That's just a sales agent. Now, the sales agent would be great if the sales agent can talk to the supply chain agent, because is this product on stock? Can I deliver on time? So that the sales agent is not making any kind of promises, which, the supply chain can't fulfill. And that is now one of the scenarios what we are planning, because we see there is clear value in it. And of course, is there then still Joule on top who has to orchestrate that? That absolutely. And that's why we are investing not in an LLM, but SAP is investing in a knowledge graph, in really, having to contextualize the data, that you can set it in context. That is very, very important. And then we need to bring it to adoption, and that's why we really focus on a few use cases, not on 100, but on a few. Push this out, and then I feel this will be a big next step in the evolution of AI.
And talk about what you're hearing from customers, because I think, nobody's saying, I don't think we need AI, or correct me if I'm wrong. I doubt anyone's saying, oh, we don't need AI. But what I hear a lot is, I don't really know. I mean, they really don't know how to use it. They've spent the last 2 years. They came to Davos 2 years ago. Oh my God, ChatGPT is going to do it. They had ChatGPT write their terrible speeches, all that. The next year, they were launching lots of pilots all over the place, proof of concept. I know they want to get returns, but I also think, the same company that was trying to sell them, a chatbot last year is trying to sell them on agents this year. They haven't even gotten through with the last thing. How are businesses, what are they telling you they need from you?
I mean, yeah, absolutely, Ina. I mean, look, we also have to ground ourselves a little bit in reality. And the reality is, 80% of our customers are not the large enterprises who are not having a big IT department, who are not having 100 data scientists. So what I told our teams is, we are SAP, we are running with our software the business. So we need to embed it. We need to offer that out of the box, meaning we have 400,000 customers, 40,000 customers giving us the right to train our modules with their anonymized data, of course. And then we plug it in. So we have all the predictions, all the automation. It's coming with the software. Because oftentimes customers just don't have, the team, also the investments, to take a piece of AI and bring it into the context of the business. And this is where we are sitting at the nexus. And of course, we need to make use of that. 5 years back, we developed an IoT scenario here, machine learning scenario there, and then you have a piece of software there. Customers really struggled with the adoption. So that's very important that it comes embedded. And then the second piece is, what I mentioned before, is also on the data side. We also have to say there's a lot of legacy still out there. There are a lot of data silos. There's always this imagination, I take my SAP, non-SAP, structured, unstructured in a data lake, magic happens, and somehow I have a meaningful data layer for the company. That is not the reality. And then, for good reasons, the LLM modules, they can't read your financials, because this would be super bad. I would be uncompliant if all of my end users suddenly could read the group P&L of SAP. So this is something what we have to solve. And this is where we work with our customers on, hey, how can we build a better data foundation? How can we harmonize the generative AI use cases with your business data? And these are the challenges what customers today facing. And that's why we are also working a lot under the hood on these things.
I often think tech companies learn the most from what they're doing internally, because whether it's dog fooding their own technology or using others' technology. And I'd love to hear, you mentioned one use case, contracts and some of that stuff. I know you've used it some in marketing. I assume you're using it for coding, for HR. Where are you getting the most value? What are some things that might be unexpected where SAP's internal use of AI has been interesting?
Yeah, I get my weekly report and about the effectiveness of our AI on our business. We have to prove SAP wants SAP. Very important to also have credibility. And in development, now it's budget time. If our development managers like it or don't like it, they have a 30%, efficiency gain in there in producing more code with the same team. And it's absolutely doable. We were, a year back with our AI pilot for ABAP, where it was probably 5 to 10%. Now we absolutely see the code which we produce or AI producing can absolutely lead to 30%.
So they have to show you they're doing 30%.
They have to, and we see it. And honestly, to make a typical developer excited about these tools takes some time. But you can feel now also the excitement, that they have to, deliver now more output, but they also have the tools in their hand. So that is really software development. And honestly, when you look at the workforce of SAP, be it in HR, be it in cloud delivery, be it in sales, in marketing, we are doing a massive enablement program now. We cannot, hire, 100,000, new employees. So you need to invest into your workforce, and you have to think through what is the profile of a developer now, and how will it look like in 3 years from now? And the same, my eyes, you have to do in order to equip your workforce for this, next age of AI.
Where hasn't AI been as effective as you thought? What are some areas where you've tried to use AI where either it hasn't worked as well, or you said, I'm sure you tested out things that didn't pan out the way you thought?
I have to say, what is sometimes more an obstacle, also inside SAP, is data protection and my lovely data protection officer. Yeah? So, I can accept, okay, we can't do that, but what is then the solution? Yeah. So, on how to use data, yeah, for testing, etc. And then we also see regional differences. Yeah. What is allowed in Europe, what is allowed in the US, or what is allowed in Asia. And we are making investment decisions also R&D wise based on where do we feel we are over regulated and where is actually also more freedom to drive innovation. That is a constant battle, a discussion we always have also inside SAP. Now, of course, when HR and finance make up 2 or 3% of your P&L, the impact is a bit less. Nevertheless, the CFO needs AI for steering. You have very volatile markets, maybe tariffs are coming, inflation, then you have, interest rates changing. And that is where AI can help. But of course, when you look at the pure cost, I would say also for our customers, it's typically supply chain, it's typically asset management. I mean, this is where a lot of the CapEx and the OpEx is going in. And obviously, customers also tend to invest exactly in that areas.
So the business itself has got to be also changing the way you sell. One of the things I was talking to, some folks at Microsoft, and Mark Benioff and I were actually talking on stage. Historically, a lot of enterprise software as a service, per user, per month, pretty well understood model. Doesn't really work in the day where, we're going to have agents. One human being could be controlling, 10, 100 agents. How do you imagine SAP will be sold differently a couple of years from now and priced, and what other beyond just pricing? Because that's a packaging thing. There was a time we bought software in a box and it was a one-time license and you tried to sell an upgrade. So my guess is you can navigate that one, but how else do you see your business changing?
I mean, commercially, it's absolutely a fair question. I mean, my investors asking me the same question. Do you really want a price per user when you want to make this process, a lot more productive, and will be there actually less users at the end? And I feel it was a very good decision that we, right from the start, said for Joule, for our AI use cases, it's consumption, it's output based. Because I would say it's also then a tough ask. Also, it's something in this, environment to say, oh, I charge you a 30% premium on top of your user price. And it was also very good for us to learn to have really an educated discussion with the customer about the value of these AI use cases and price them outcome-based, consumption-based. And so that was, for us, absolutely the right decision. So we are already on output-based pricing. Of course, our solutions, the software is still subscription-based. I would say the tendency there is also to come to more outcome-based. But you also have to see many CIOs, they all love to hear about outcome-based but you also need to have security in your IT budget. When you overshoot your IT budget by 20 or 30%, your job is also at risk. So I would say, look, outcome-based is absolutely the way to go. Consumption on AI. If this will now radically change on the software side, I don't know.
We only have about a minute left. What aren't we talking enough about here in Davos? What is missing from the conversation?
You said it right, Ina. At the end, I would love to say buy a piece of AI and technology and get the value instantly. That is not in the enterprise space how it works. You need to understand how will my business will run in the future, how is my business model changes, how do I want to automate a certain business process and then drive the change from the end user coming and then apply the AI in the right way. And so I guess this is something what also the technology companies need to take care of. There's always an end user, there's always a change needed on the business side. And I guess this honesty we also have to give our customers, because otherwise we are playing into a hype. And we are here with agentic AI, and our customers are here. And I always remind our teams, the gap, there is always a certain gap, until customers can adopt, but the gap needs to be well managed and cannot be, like a 2 or 3 year time frame. And that, I guess, is very important that also here in Davos, we talk about how to change the business, how to change my workforce in order to apply AI with the right output.
All right, well, I want to give you one suggestion for an agent. SAP is very involved in the San Jose Sharks. They play at SAP Center.
Don't go there. My founder gives me a hard time with they
Yeah.
are not playing really well. Yeah.
They do have a great young player. Macklin Celebrini is great. Anyway, we're going to have to leave it there. Hopefully, we'll have better news on both the AI and hockey fronts next year. Christian Klein from SAP.